Section number 9 of the Georgics. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Caveat. The Georgics by Virgil, translated by Harriet Waters Preston. Book number 3, part number 3. But the unreturning hours do fleet and fleet, while we, enamoured of one only strain, round the circle. Wherefore it seemeth meet we sing of the herds no more, for yet remain the ways of the woolly flocks to celebrate, and the long-haired goats, and the toil is truly great, but nevertheless there is fame to be had therein. Ye sturdy churls, nor dubious hope have I, the meed of the conqueror in song to win, and a lowly theme with praise to glorify. O sweet thy lonelier peak to journey o'er, Parnassus all following the gentle slope explore, a path to Castaly never trod before. Bend to mine utterance then, thy majesty, most reverend Pales, the while I give command, that sheep right tenderly fed and housed be, until the leafy spring revisit the land, and straw, and trusses of gathered fern also. Thou with no stint shall over the hard earth strew, that haply thy soft creatures do sustain injury that cometh of the icy cold, in many a loathsome malady, and again feast them on our but foliage within the fold, and carry them clearest water, and do thou mind that all their coats fast close to the winter wind. Affront the sunshine low in the southern sky, what time the skirts of the receding year are sprinkled of chill Aquarius from on high. Nor hold thou in any wise the wheel less dear, for that their worth is verily one of these, than theirs who yield thee that Milesian fleece, enrubied in Tyrrhenian vats and bartered for so great price. Their progeny, be it known, are more in number, and they are wont to shed their treasure of milk so far more freely down, that pails overflowing with foam but seem to drain the udders, and the glad rivers flow again, until the pressure of the fingers flag. Meanwhile the hairy side and the hoary chin are yearly shorn of thy Scythian stag, and the rude webs that these thy tonsures win meet for the shelter of tented legions be, or the sails of the sad wayfarers of the sea, fed in the wilderness of the Lycian steep, on diet of mountain briars and brambles rude, the way to their homes they still in memory keep, and lead their offspring out of the solitude, albeit they scarce may pass the threshold o'er, for the heaviness of their teats. Wherefore the more, because they ask so little of human care, shalt thou a screen from the snowy gales provide, and cheerfully still their leafy fodders bear, nor cover the hayloft all the winter tide. But soon as ever the summer's gladdening word goes forth in the west wind unto either herd, though chilly the wold beneath the morning star, we will hasten unto the pastures hoary white, while the dawn is young and the tender grasses are dew-pearled as yet for the roaming flock's delight. But when the unclouded heavens are thirsty grown, and the glowing hour is 10, and the querulous drone of the cicada shrilleth in all the leaves, lead we to water at well or limpid pool, or where, may happen, a wooden trough receives the running rills, then off to the valleys cool, to wild noon, where the spreading branches be, and olden shadow of Jove's own mighty tree, or 'neath the impenetrable ilex grove, slumbering hard by, in darkness consecrate. Then once again to the trickling streams we move, or idly feed, while the afternoon wears late, until vesper brings the cool, and the glades once more are dewy with moonrise, and the songs do soar of the finch from the thorn, and the halcyon from the shore. Nor yet will I slight in these my rustic strains the wanderings of the shepherds in Afric, and their lone encampments upon the silent plains. By day and by night for moons they roam the land, leading and feeding their flocks, nor ever bide in the homes of men. The desert is so wide. His roof and his home, his weapons and his wares, the Libyan herdsman carrieth still, and leads Laconian dogs and the Cretan quiver bears, even as the intrepid Roman soldier speeds to shoulder his cruel pack, and march and show an ordered camp in front of the dreaming foe. Not thus the Scythians by the Cimmerian sea, or the stream of Hister, troubled with sands of gold, or where the measureless bulk of Rhoetope sweeps to the north, perpetual in fold. The flocks are holden there, nor grasses green do deck the field, nor any leaves are seen, but the very heart of the land is hard with frost, and foamless under the heaps of snow, 7 fathoms far and wide, it lieth lost. It is winter for evermore, and ever blow the icy winds, and the sun's enfeebled ray clears not the cloudy pallor of heaven away. Neither in the mid-course of his airy team, nor where his car precipitately descending flings over the billows wide one ruddy beam, and the sometime running waters' eye are tending to gather in sudden crusts, which grow and grow till the rings of an iron chain do stay the flow, and the clumsy wain goes heavily where the keel did push before, and the brazen vehicles even are oft times rent, and the very robes congeal and stiffen that men endue, and the wine is riven with axes. Pools are solid unto their deeps, and icicles bristle around their unshorn lips, nor less the while the universal air is murk with snowfall, and the huge oxen stand still where the frost makes hoary every hair. But the stags have gathered there into a serried band, stupefied under the new descended mass, their uttermost antlers barely overpass, and the charge of the hound shall fright them never again, nor scarlet feathers hurry the trembling things into any net, for lo, they have striven in vain, and an end is come unto all their labourings, and pantings under the mountain of the drift, when the huntsman falleth on them with weapon swift, and smites them, belling the while right mournfully, and slays and bears them away with gleeful shout. Oh, a safe life and an easeful leadeth he, the Scythian in his deep dwelling hollowed out of the bowels of the earth, by the fireside where he rolls for the burning heart of oak and huge elm boles. There speeds the night with merriment, and men drain draughts of the iced juice of the service tree, or molten beverage, wherein they are fain to find the like of the wine-cup's jollity. The blast of the north scarce tames these peoples bold, and smitten of the Ripaean east they fold in tawny furs their bodies from the cold. Now, if thou follow the breeding of sheep for wool, the prickly shrub and the burr and the caltrop shun, nor less the feed that is all too bountiful, and white be thy flock, and soft fleeced every one. Nay, while thou ram's whole body fair as snow, put him away, if only his tongue do show, black where the palate is moist, and seek again through all the populous field, lest his increase defiled be by a dusky spot or stain. The Arcadian god with glory of so white fleece, thus runs the tale thee Luna did enthrall, calling into the woods, nor didst thou spurn his call. But the raiser of milk assiduous shall bear to the flocks in fold both milliot and lucerne and salted grasses, for, nourished upon such fare, they for the running streams do greatly yearn, and their udders increase, and a delicate saline taste is in the milk, and many there be who haste to part from their side of the dam the kids new born, and circle their tender necks with an iron ring. The milk which is given after the earliest morn goeth at night to the press, but the farm hands bring the fruit of the darkling hours with rising day in moulds to the town hard by, or haply lay dredged with rare salt for the winter's use away. Nor let the breeding of noble dogs be found thy least endeavour, but in thy pack unite swift Spartan whelps to the keen Molossian hound, and fatten with whey. For thou needst have no fright in all thy stables with such custodians, of the stealth of the murderous Iberians, or the midnight raids of wolves or robbers heed. Then oft shalt thou hunt the tremulous wild ass, and after the hare and doe thy pack shall speed, or drive with baying into the dark morass the scared wild boar, or over the mountains high urge the great stag to the net with ringing cry. Learn too the art to kindle under thy stalls phials of the galbanus and sweet cedar wood, because the pungent odour thereof appals the offensive serpent, and when thy sheds have stood long years unmoved, the viper vile to touch, and timorous hides from the daylight under such, and lieth in wait to foul with venomous dew his victims among the cattle. Haste thee then, O shepherd, and him with stocks and stones pursue, and beat him down, nor suffer him lift again the sibilant menace of its tumoured head. So shall the reptile bury him deep for dread, his midmost knots incontinently undone, and stilled his quivering tail, and dragging slow the last of his writhings. Such an one informeth all the Calabrian glades with woe, and ever his bulging bosom doth erect, and scaly back and belly long bedecked with monstrous markings, he while the channels yet of the streams are full with springtide, and the land with the floods that come in the wake of Auster wed. dwells in the pools or hovers against the strand, and filleth his livid maw in cruel greed with chattering frogs and fishes. Then, indeed, when the fens turn dry and the fires of summer make the fields to gape, he rolleth his burning eyes and leaps to the land, the sometime water snake, frenzied with thirst and the fear of the ardent skies, and he ravageth all the region. Heaven forfend that I my limbs in the grassy grove extend, and suffer me not beneath the open sky to court sweet slumber at that perilous tide, when he creepeth anear in the new-found bravery of youth, for his outshorn sheath is flung aside, and leaving his brooded eggs, his curling young, he flashes aloft the steel of his three-forked tongue. End of section 9.